सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे परम्पराम्।
ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह
वीर्यं करवावहै
तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु
तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै।
शान्ति
शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
वासुदेवे
देवेन्द्र योगेन्द्रं
नत्वा
नत्वा ज्ञानं प्रदं गुरुं हितार्थाय तत्त्वबोधोऽभिधीयते।
नमः।
श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः।
Welcome back. So in the last class, we had talked about how we had finished talking about how the individual appears to be a mix of Atma and Anatma, a mix of Satyam and Mithya. However, when we inquire into the Mithya Vastu, it will reveal that Satyam alone exists. When you inquire into the snake, you realize that the rope alone exists. So the author concluded the topic of Mahatma by saying, Evam Satchidananda Swarupam Swatmanam Vijaniyat. In this manner, may you recognize the Atma as yourself, which is the Satchidananda Swarupa, that internal, all-pervading, invisible inner essence I. It requires a lot of contemplation to assimilate this reality. You have to assimilate that you are the Sat principle. You are this absolute existence. Just like when we inquire into the clay and the pot, we find out that the essence is the clay alone, and the rest is all just Nama Rupa. So when we looked at the three bodies or the five sheaths or the three states of experience and negated all this, what we are negating is the Ramarupa. The essence is just you minus all these different variations. Alatrayapi tishtatiti iti sat. Before the pot came into existence, there was only clay. During the existence of the pot, also there was the clay. And after the destruction of the pot, there is still the clay. Right? You were always present through all these different lifetimes of the plot. You yourself are eternal. You're also the Chit principle, the absolute consciousness. You are what illumines everything else. This needs to be assimilated well. In Katha Upanishad, it is said, Om na tatra suryo bhati na chandra tarakam, nema vidyuto bhanti kuto myagnihi, tameva bhantam anubhati sarvam, tasya bhasa sarvamitam vipati. Those of you who've been to Shivananda Ashram will also recognize this mantra, which is chanted during the Aarti. Right? It is this mantra is making fun of ourselves a little bit. It says that this Brahman, which the sun cannot illumine, nor can the moon, nor the stars, lightning cannot illumine it. Yet here I am standing with this small mortal flame trying to illumine this Atma. That's why we sing it during the Aarti. It's a non-dual prayer to remind ourselves again of our true nature. Everything which shines is because of this Atma alone. This Atma is self-illumining. It is by the light of this Atma, it is by my light that everything else is revealed. Recognize that Atma as yourself. Recognize also yourself as this Ananda principle, the bliss born out of the knowledge of your Purna nature. When you recognize you are complete, there is nothing left to desire. You will enjoy all the mithya vastu, knowing that they are reflecting the bliss within you, like the dog with the bone example that we looked at. The bliss is always there within us, it is us. And even when external objects are not there for a conducive environment, for a calm state of mind to reflect that ananda, you can still tap into your Atmananda, your uninterrupted pleasure supply, which is always there. So with this, we concluded the topic of Atma. So, and 2 of the 5 key topics of Tattva Bodha are now complete. So the first topic was, anyone wants to tell me? The qualifications, sadhana chatushtaya. Yeah. And that was the first topic. Then the second topic, which we just concluded, what were we inquiring into? Perspective of Atma? Yes, we were inquiring into
Vyashti Vichara.
Vichara, yes. It's another name. So we're inquiring into what is this Jivatma? What is the microcosm? And now we will enter the third section of Bodha, which is what is that we consider Paramatma? What is this creation or Shrishti? It's called Samashti Vichara, the study of the macrocosm. So as we move from Vyashti Vichara to Samashti Vichara, the plot has already been revealed to you. We mentioned how the essence of the micro and the macro is the same, right? The essence of the wave is water, the essence of ocean is also water. However, despite certain conceptions, misconceptions, and questions about the micro, this jiva, we also have certain conceptions about this creation we see and what we call God or Ishvara. So we must also inquire into all of that, and hence the separate section on the Samashti Vichara. So we will chant on your page 14. You can unmute yourselves. अथ समष्टि विचारः
अथ
समष्टि
समष्टिविचारः
अथ चतुर्विंशति
अथ
चतुर्विंशति
चतुर्विंशति
तत्त्वोत्पत्तिप्रकारं वक्ष्यामः
तत्वोपत्तिप्रकारं
तत्वोत्पत्तिप्रकारं
वक्ष्यामः.
वक्ष्यामः.
So this says, Atha, therefore meaning after having completed the 2 major topics and entering the third topic, Utpatti Prakaram. Prakaram meaning the method, and Utpatti is creation. So the method of this creation, Chaturvimsati Tattvam, the entire cosmos, this creation is called Chaturvimsati Tattvam, which means 24, because the scriptures divide the whole universe into 24 basic principles. So what exactly these 24 are, it will be discussed later. For now, all you need to understand is Chaturvimsati Tattvam means this Jagat, this creation, the Prapancha, the whole universe. We're going to talk about the creation of this whole universe that we see. Vyakshamaha means we will teach. So notice that again, the author emphasizes on we, not I will teach, because it's always to be remembered that this teaching does not belong to any individual. It was received to me by my teacher, who received it from their teacher. This teaching always has the backing of the Guru Parampara. And that's how the authenticity of the teaching is always maintained. Chanting again. Brahma Shreya
Brahmashaya.
Brahmashraya.
Rajastamo Gunatmika.
Sattvarajastamo Gunatmika.
Gunatmika.
Maya Asti.
Maya
Maya
asti.
This, with Brahmashraya, with the blessing of Brahman, this Maya, this dependent reality, which is made of three gunas, of three qualities of sattva, rajas, and tamas, it exists. So as intelligent beings, we have a natural curiosity to know, of course, about this world, this creation, how it came to be. We say creation because we assume that it was created. And we also assume that there is a creator. Why do we do that? Because it fits with our experience and understanding of things so far. Whenever I see something special, something that doesn't just grow on a tree or found in nature, like a beautiful sculpture or a sophisticated piece of machinery, I know that there was a creator of this object, an intelligent creator. And so I call this object a creation. So there must have been an intelligent creator who designed this cup exactly this way, who decided the colors which would fit together. They knew how to glaze it in this particular way, get that particular look, right? And also a functionality so that it can be reused. So there must have been some intelligence which went into making this creation. So similarly, when you look at a car or any other piece of machinery that you use in your house or a beautiful piece of art, we know that there must have been a creator behind this. And we think, most of us, that the same about this world that we see, that there must be a creator to create this intelligent world where everything is moving about so perfectly. The earth was placed exactly that perfect distance from the sun so that we don't get burnt, but we get enough warmth for life to be sustained. Right, all these planets moving around at unimaginable speeds through space, they do this dance without colliding into each other. How much intelligence must have gone in for this whole creation to be? Hence, we call this creation, hence we call this Shrishti, a creation. So since this body and the world seems intelligently put together, we assume there must be also an intelligent creator, and we call this creator God or Ishvara or Allah or Jesus. Different theologies, different traditions give different names to this God. So now in Advaita Vedanta, we must naturally inquire into who is this God? The intelligent creator of anything in Vedanta is called the Nimitta Karana, that is the efficient cause or the intelligent cause. And for any intelligently put together object in this universe, the intelligent creator must have had some material to work with. So in this material, there is clay and other things. So this is the material that the object was made of. And this material which is used for creation is called the Upadana Karanam, the material cause. So everything in creation has two causes, the Nimitta Karanam, the intelligent or efficient cause, and the Upadana Karanam, which is the material cause. Now we will inquire into what are these two causes when it comes to the whole cosmos, this entire creation that we see. Now, when we talk about creation, though, so unlike the pot maker who had access to clay, or unlike the watchmaker who had access to different parts of this machinery, this creation, though, we are saying, if God is the creator of everything, then there could have been nothing else before what we're calling now this God. So what did God create this creation out of? It's from there we draw, and of course Shastra tells us that God created this universe out of himself, right? This material of this universe is God himself, which was the essence of, if some of you logged in before class, I was playing the Purusha Suktam, which very poetically depicts how this creation came to be. You know, you should definitely listen to it sometime and look at the meaning. It's a really wonderful mantra. So now, something getting created out of itself seems a bit out of our scope of general understanding. But Shastra helps us digest this by giving two examples. The first example is the spider and the web, right? So unlike a weaver bird, which uses material outside itself to create its nest, the spider, when it creates a web, where does the material of the web come from? It comes from the spider itself. And if you see a spider walking, it will even use this web to go from place to place. And when it's reached the place it wants, you will see that it can take the web back into its own body. So it is with this creation. So the material which became this creation came out of Ishvara himself. And of course, it is still what we call creation, we said before, is simply the manifestation of this universe. The world comes from unmanifest form to a manifest form. And when there is pralayam, the cosmic destruction of the universe, it's simply the universe going back into an unmanifest form. So it's the web going back into the spider. So this material that the world was created from again goes back into Ishvara. So this example, the spider and web, you will find in a lot of different texts across Shastra, is to help you come to grips with this concept of the material cause, how the material cause and the intelligent cause can be one and the same thing. So it is with this creation and Ishvara. The creation came out of the Lord and goes back into the Lord. For other reasons, Shastra gives us the dream example, one of my favorites. So this helps us again understand how the effect is the cause, right? So how the Jagat is the cause of the creator. Jagat and the creator are one and the same. So Shruti proposes there are no two causes, only one. Poetically, it is said as, may he or she desired, may I be many. And that was it. When you dream, where does the dream come from? It is your own knowledge. The material for the dream world is inherent to you. It's not different from you. So you are what is the dream. And similarly, the creator pervades the dream which has come out of himself. It is said in Purusha Suktam, Purusha Purusha evedagum sarvam yadbhutayaccha bhavyam utamritatvasya sheshanaha yadannenatirohati. The Purusha is indeed all this creation in a sense, that which existed in the past and that which will exist in the future. Everything, the whole creation is woven by the immortal essence of the great Lord, Purusha. By becoming food of which, that is, by getting consumed in whose immortal essence through surrender, one transcends the gross world and becomes immortal. So the whole dream is just you. What kind of you? It is the knowledgeable you, because it's your own knowledge which is manifest in the form of a dream world. In the dream, there are sentient beings, like some people, other animals maybe, and there are also inert things like mountains and trees and so on. And so it is with this Jagat that you see all around you. Whether you see sentient beings or insentient beings like rocks, it's Ishvara alone which is manifest in everything that you see. When Hindus, the Hindu culture and the Sanatana Dharma culture, when we worship Surya Devata, the sun god, we are not worshipping the inert sun phenomena. But through that phenomena, we worship Ishvara. Like this, every symbol becomes a form of worshipping Ishvara in a particular aspect. It is very wrongly said and wrongly assumed even by a lot of people who claim to be Hindus that Hinduism has many gods. We have hundreds of gods. But Shastra tells us that there are not many gods. There is actually only one God. There is only God. That's what the Sanatana Dharma is trying to tell you. Everything that you see and experience, including yourself, is a manifestation of this God. Ishvara is the abhinna nimitta upadanakara. Bhinna is separate and abhinna is not separate. The not separate cause, which is both the material and the efficient cause, is Ishvara. Ishvara is hence both he and she, both the father and mother of this creation. Right. Any questions so far?
Where do premonitions come in, ma'am?
Sorry?
Premonitions, yeah. Like some people say, I'm able to see this, or in a dream, or they say, I saw somebody else saying something, and let's say it comes true.
Right. So it's not
What
really
would
related
that
to
be
what you're
classified
saying, but
as?
I'll answer it. So again, we talk about again the subtle body and the subtle universe, right? So it's just that there is unlimited potential of everything which exists. So when we talked about I have a limited capacity to see, a cat has much higher capacity to see than me. Right? It can see in the dark, which I'm not able to do. I have limited capacity to listen, and a dog has much better capacity to listen than me. So this unlimited potential of seeing or hearing, we were calling devatas, right? So this limited potential that exists for all of us, there is an unlimited potential which exists there. So a lot of people through yogic practices, or sometimes it happens spontaneously, perhaps because of past life actions, can increase this limited potential they have for more, to make it more. So when premonitions is something like that, it's there is a limited potential of things that everyone has, but some might have access to a deeper level of this potential.
No, what I meant was, you said dream uses your past knowledge, and that's how you see your dream.
Right.
I'm asking
It's your
about
past knowledge, but it comes back to you in a jumbled up way. Right. Premonitions is something a little outside the category of that general dream, where it's not necessarily, maybe it is using past knowledge. I'm not an expert on the area of premonitions, but it is, a lot of us, we pick up these subtle cues when that we are not, our outer mind is not really aware of. You might get into a lift, like probably every woman has experiences. You're in a lift, or you're walking in an alley and you see a certain person, and immediately there is some sense of danger. That person has not done anything yet, they've not said anything, but something tells you that this person is not to be trusted. Of course, it can be wrong. Your trauma can be coming into play and giving you wrong signals. But for a well-calibrated nervous system, we are picking up subtle cues. Maybe there was a certain expression on the person's face, or a certain way they looked, or they're acting, that your subconscious picked up on and signals you of danger. Right? I'm saying in a well-regulated nervous system, generally these warnings are accurate. They're meant for your own protection. So nothing has happened yet, but my subconscious registered something and it's telling me, right? So sometimes what people call premonition could be something like that. Your subconscious could have registered something which is telling you this is going to happen. So people say, I saw this person pass away in my dream. Or it could be your subconscious picking on the cues that they've not been so well so far and such. But it could be also something a bit more, which is why I was talking about this, certain people developing capacities for things beyond what regular people can have access to, where maybe they have access to what is going to happen to the future and all. So that can happen. Okay. So let's look at the verse which is talking about Brahman and Maya. The verse says Brahmashraya. That is blessed by Brahman. Sattva, Rajas, Tamo, Guna, Atmika, endowed with the three gunas, the three qualities of Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. Maya Asti, Maya is. So I hope you remember we talked about the three gunas a few classes ago, what the three gunas are. Would anyone like to summarize quickly for me? Okay, one at a time. What is Sattva?
Sattva is
Guna,
a
are we talking about? Sorry.
Yes, what is Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas? You can tell me any one or all of them.
So Sattva Guna is a guna in which your thoughts are pure, and you are doing your actions without, waiting for the preferable result.
Right.
So
when it's manifest in the universe, because all these three qualities are present in everything in the universe. So
yes.
Sattva is the quality of purity, of lightness, clarity. And what is Rajas?
Rajas is fast-paced.
Yes, activity, action, motion is Rajas. And what is Tamas?
dullness,
Dullness, lethargy.
Correct. Dullness, lethargy, inertia is all Tamas, right? So Brahman has a Shakti, a power to create, and that power is called Maya. But let's also recall a few principles that we already talked about. We said that anything that originates must be existing before origination in a potential and manifest form. Before the tree, there was a seed, and before the seed, it existed as a flower, or so on. Before the baby, it existed as a fetus. Before the fetus, it existed as the sperm in the ovum. So everything which comes into existence, it was already there, because matter cannot be created or destroyed, which is a well-known principle. It can only change from one form to the other. So strictly speaking, God created this universe as an unscientific, illogical statement, because world cannot really be created. So we have to keep remembering that when we are talking about the creation of the universe right now, we are talking about the manifestation of the universe, and destruction of the universe is the unmanifestation of the universe. Before the dream came, there was sleep, like Laya. And so before every creation, there was pralayam, the cosmic destruction, where everything was in unmanifest state. So like the body in the potential form has a name, right? What was the name? It was Karana Sharira. This world also has a name for when it was in potential form. So like Karana Sharira, you can say Karana Prapancha or Avyakta Prapancha, meaning the unmanifest world. Or it can simply be called Maya. So Maya is this potential of everything in creation. At the time of Pralayam, at the time of destruction, resolution of the universe, Maya was always there as unmanifest form. And at the time of when this creation is there, Shrishti is there, Maya is there with its three gunas in manifest form. Right. So we say that at the time of when there was no creation, the three gunas of Maya, Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas were in equilibrium. And whenever creation is there, that they are not in equilibrium, means Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas are constantly moving, constantly changing. Everything that we see in creation thus is constantly changing. Right? So before the universe existed, that is manifested, there were two principles. One is Brahman and the other is Maya. Both are anadi, both are beginningless. Brahman is the consciousness principle, and Maya is the material or inert principle. Both always existed. And Maya is simply the unmanifest form of the universe. So while we are talking now of Maya as separate, please understand that this is just to give a certain understanding. Maya doesn't have any independent existence by itself. It is a dependent principle. Hence the author says Brahmashraya, dependent on Brahman. Here, Brahman means, of course, not the Satchitananda principle, not Lord Brahmaji, the Lord Brahmaji of the Trinity, Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva. That's not the Brahma we are talking about. Now we are talking about Brahman. As we saw before, everything which has a dependent existence is mithya. So Maya is mithya. Brahman, on the other hand, has an independent existence and hence is Satyam. Certain depictions in our culture talk about Shiva and Shakti. So Brahman as Shiva and Maya as Shakti. It is a romanticized depiction, a symbolic representation, and it should not be taken literally as Brahman being male and Maya being female. It's just a way for us to understand things. Remember that Brahman itself is nirguna, meaning without attributes. So you cannot give any attributes to Brahman like being male or so on. Maya, on the other hand, has attributes, has gunas, and it's called Triguna Atmika. The author says, Sattva Raja Tamo Guna Atmika Maya Asti. So Maya has these three gunas, and hence everything in nature which comes also has these three gunas. So when I say everything in nature, it also means all the mental factors, what we think has also these three gunas. Our thoughts can be sattvic, rajasic, or tamasic. All the physical factors, what we consume, all the food that we eat has these three gunas. So, and hence when we consume this food, those gunas can get transmitted to us. When we eat very tamasic, heavy food, on eating it, we will feel heavy. Or when what we consume in terms of media or people we engage with can also affect us the same way, because these will have the same three gunas, and then they go into us when we consume it. Even things like who cooked our food, what kind of mind frame they were in when they cooked this food, will also have the three gunas, and it will be transferred, which is why traditionally in India, one didn't eat food outside. One only always ate food cooked at home, right? So what we consume, or in terms of the environment around us, is my desk cluttered or clean? That will also affect the gunas in us, the kinds of activities that we engage in. This is why, of course, for spiritual practice, one tries to create more sattva, because sattva gives clarity through which we can discern, concentrate, and learn. Sattva guna is, you can say, representative of the jnana shakti, of the power of the knowing faculty. Rajoguna, rajas, is symbolic of kriya shakti, the doing faculty, where desires come from. And tamoguna is representative of dravya shakti, the resting faculty. Of course, all three are important in their own right. Sattva gives us clarity so that we can concentrate, discern, and learn. Rajas gives us desire, making us chase false notion of seeking happiness from the external world. But it can also give us that sattvic desires to go make things happen, go find a teacher of Shastra, for example, and arrange things in your life so that you can attend these classes and get the knowledge. From tamas, we have ignorance, which veils our real nature and weakens our perception. Gunas means that which binds. So while we, as a spiritual aspirant, while we might try to improve the sattva composition in us, we have to at the same time be aware that it can also bind. Even sattva can bind, and we have to be careful that it doesn't become something that binds us. A calm, peaceful environment is conducive to building sattva, but it should not become something that binds us, in the sense that if you don't have this calm, peaceful environment, you will feel disturbed, right? We should aim to build sattva of a pure nature, that of a detached form. Such a sattvic mind will not condemn rajas and tamas, but understand that their value in the scheme of this transactional reality. So building sattva in the mind will better reflect this consciousness. Mind is the instrument which will be used to transcend itself. So while you may be working very hard at your sadhana, It will only be fruitful finally when you realize that ultimately that it is all Maya. Thinking you had to do sadhana is also Maya, because you always were Brahman. However, it's Vidya Maya. So it's useful till such time you attain sufficient Chitta Shuddhi for this knowledge to take root. Vidya Maya will manifest as all these qualities of Viveka, Vairagyam, etc. And hence it's useful. Avidya Maya manifests as, avidya meaning ignorance, will manifest as greed, aversion, attachment, and traps us in samsara. But everything we experience is only Maya. And the way out of Maya is through Maya. If those of you who hike might know this, if you're in the forest and you get a thorn stuck deep inside, what's the best way to remove the thorn? You don't have any instruments with you or anything. So the best way to remove the thorn is with another thorn. Right? So the way out of Maya is through Maya. So keep all the sadhana. Don't be in a hurry to drop any sadhanas, any spiritual practices. Keep it till such time it is necessary, till such time you no longer have a question, do I need to do sadhana? When you no longer need to do sadhana, you will know it. You won't need to ask anyone. So keep adding more sattva in the mind and enjoy better and better reflection of that Atmananda till such time that you can completely abide in that Atmananda. These three gunas, so all these three gunas, sattva, rajas, and tamas, belong to Maya. We call it like three strands of a braid. Maya is nothing different from these three gunas. Right? So what is a braid? A braid is made of these three strands. There is no braid without these three strands. So Brahman, on the other hand, is nirgunam. It's without any gunas. And Brahman is nirvikara. It's unchanging. And whereas Maya is always changing. So out of this combination of Brahman and Maya, creation evolves. And Brahman simply blesses Maya by its presence. The evolution, because we also, multiple times in Shastra, you will see that Brahman is a karta. Brahman is not the doer. So it is Maya which is changing, but Brahman is unchanging. Brahman simply blesses Maya by its presence, like the sunlight is simply there, and in its presence, trees glow, or like electricity by its mere presence can make a defibrillator work, the medical instrument which is used to shock a heart which has stopped, or it also has the power to make the electric chair function, which can take someone's life. So Brahman is like this electricity, which is simply there, right? And this combination of Brahman plus Maya is what we call Ishvara, what we call God in Advaita Vedanta. Of course, this Brahman, Maya, when we're talking about two principles, and Ishvara as a principle, we're still talking about the Vyavaharika Satyam, the transactional level of reality. So all this world we see is a manifestation of Maya. And we say Maya has two powers, Vikshepa Shakti and Avarna Shakti. So Vikshepa Shakti is the projecting power of Maya, and Avarna Shakti is the veiling power of Maya. So when you saw the rope, what in that analogy, and mistook it for the snake and got frightened, it was projecting the snake on the rope is the Vikshepa Shakti, the projecting power. And the Avarna Shakti, the wheeling power, was the semi-darkness, because of which you could not clearly see the rope for what it was. That is the Avarna Shakti, the wheeling power of Maya. So just like in a dream, the whole dream universe is projected. That's the Vikshepa Shakti from the memories of the waker. But once the waker enters the dream, he forgets himself to be the waker and identifies with the dream personality. This is because of the Avarna Shakti, the wheeling power of Maya. In the case of a Jivatma, the Avarna Shakti and Vikshepa Shakti are both at play. We have both this projecting power and the wheeling power at us, which is why we forget our real nature. But in the case of Ishvara, which is Brahman plus Maya, the Vikshepa Shakti is available in full measure in much. While we have a limited power of Vikshepa Shakti, Ishvara has the full measure of this Vikshepa Shakti, but Avarna Shakti does not apply. Hence, while the Jiva might forget he's the waker when he's in the dream world, or when we are in this transactional reality also, we can forget ourselves as Atma. In the case of Ishvara, because while he has the power to create this entire creation, the Avarna Shakti is not functioning, so he doesn't forget who he is, thankfully. And moksha is basically just waking up from this ultimate dream. When one wakes up from this ultimate dream and recognizes themselves as Atma, the Vikshepa Shakti will still continue, right? So we will still be able to see all these objects of the world. We will be able to see different people, things, and interact with the objects of the world. But the Avarna Shakti is what gets destroyed. So we see things, while we see these different things, we still see the ultimate reality. We always abide in what is the ultimate reality beyond all these things. And hence, just like waking up in a dream, if a dream tiger was frightening you, but you wake up and realize it's a dream, it no longer can frighten you. If you wake up to the ultimate reality in this world will no longer have a way to cause you any suffering. You can enjoy it all like a leela, like a play. Any questions? Okay, so now we will briefly look at how the creation, like the technical aspect of how this creation came to be. The author will now talk about creation of Jagat, the manifestation of this universe, in 4 stages. The first stage is called Panchabhuta Shrishti, which is the formation of the Panchabhuta, means the 5 elements. So formation of the Sukshma Panchabhutani, the subtle 5 elements, is being the first stage, is what will be talked about. So on your page 14, Tataha Akasha Sambhutah
ततः आकाशसम्भूतः
Akashadvayuhu
आकाशाद्वायुः
Vayostejah
वायोस्तेजः
Tejas Apah
तेजसापः
Advayah Prithvi
अभयः पृथ्वी
So Tataha, continue. From that Brahman with Maya, Akasha, space, Sambhutaha is born. Akashat, from space, Vayuhu, air is born. Vayuhu, from air, Tejaha, fire is born. Tejasaha, from fire, Apaha, water is born. Abayaha, from water, Prithvi, the earth is born. Now, the Jagat, the creation, is now presented in a fivefold way as the Pancha Mahabhutas, as the five great elements. So, of course, these elements are different from the elements we talk about in physics. These basic five elements are the Karya, the product of Brahman with Maya. Therefore, the product is not separate from Brahman with Maya. That is, it is not separate from Ishvara. So the five great elements are Akasha, space, Vayuhu, air, Tejaha or Agni, fire, Apaha, water, and Prithvi, earth. These are the five elements that we talk about in Vedanta. Tataha, from that Maya, the beginningless Maya, blessed by Brahman, the five elements are born. The first being Sukshma Akasha, the subtle space element. Akasha Sambhutaha is created. So Shastra says that space is also born. Science initially thought that space always existed, but later revised it to say that space can only be said to be created after the Big Bang. Space is not emptiness, it's also a positive material. It is very, very subtle, but it is also something. So even scientists, they talk about bending space and curving space because it's something positive. So every element has got their attributes that can be related with the five Jnanendriyas. So each of them can be related with the five sense organs. Akasha has, if you think about it, the property of sound, right? Because sound can travel through space, but it doesn't have any other properties like rupa, shape, gandha, smell, rasa, taste, sparsha, touch. We may say we can't hear it, but it's the limitation of our own ears. If we had more subtle hearing, we could. It's said that the sound of Akasha is the Omkaranada. Sound of Om is the sound of Akasha that is there, and yogis in deep meditation can have the capability to hear this sound, right? So like the 7 rainbow colors of a white light, we can't see it with naked eyes. Only when it passes through a prism, we can see it. Similarly, when other elements come into existence, we can hear. So so there is Ekaguna, the one guna, Akasha is first born from Ishvara, and Akasha Dvayuhu. So from that subtle space element, from the subtle Akasha, the subtle Vayu, the subtle air element is born. It is not said again, but we know that Akasha is Brahman, so Vayu is also ultimately born out of Brahman with Maya. So since it is born out of Akasha, the parental property of Akasha will also be there in Vayu. So the property of sound will also be present in air. And additionally, it has the property of sparsha, touch. So we can feel the blowing air, right? And Vayos Tejaha, from this subtle air element, Tejaha, the subtle Agni, subtle fire element is born. And now this subtle fire element will have a third property of rupa. Vayu, air cannot be seen, but Agni, fire, can be seen. Right? So fire has the elements of Shabda, Sparsha, and Rupa, sound, touch, and form. It's the first of the 5 elements with form. It is also the reason why we worship fire. It is, if Ishvara had to be given a form, this is the first form in which he can be invoked. Hence, to invoke any deity, one can light a lamp and say, I invoke this devata in the lamp. This kind of Deepa Puja is very common, especially in south of India, Tamil Nadu and Kerala. From Tejasa Apaha. So from this fire, the subtle water element is born. Water can also be heard, touched, seen, and additionally also tasted. Water has this very unique tasteless taste, right? But we can taste it. And from the subtle water, the subtle earth element is born, which has all of the 5 properties. Earth element additionally has the property of smell. So all forms of smell, even if they are in water, they are said to belong to the earth element. Even modern science confirms this, that all aromatic molecules are from earth alone. So it's basically, these are all the subtle elements that we are talking about, but they're going from a little less and less subtle as each of these 5 elements, and we say how subtle something is based on how many sense organs can recognize it. And this is the first stage of creation, where the subtle 5 elements is born. This is called the Panchabhuta Shrishti. We know Maya has 3 qualities, Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, in unmanifested condition. They're going to manifest in these 5 elements. So the 5 elements will also have these 3 gunas, just like the children have qualities of parents. The products will have qualities of the cause. So we will talk about the remaining 3 stages of creation in the next class. If there's any questions, we can take that. Okay, then if there's no questions, we can do the closing prayers. Om
Purnamidam Purnad Purnamudachyate
Purnamadaya Purnameva
Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Om Tatsat.
Om Gurubhyo Namah. Hari Om Tatsat. धन्यवाद जी.
Thank you. Thank you, Spandana ji.